Welcome back. A violent robbery at a car dealership in 1995 left 2 people dead. 4 young men were arrested and convicted for the crime. All 4 would eventually be exonerated decades later. One of those men is Troshawn McCoy, who was just 17 years old at the time. And he's written a book about the experience called American Nightmare. Troshawn joins us now in studio. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Talk to me. I mean, like, just reading that, I'm like, it's a weight.
Yes.
And you decided to share that weight with everyone.
Yes.
Talk to me about why you decided I have to write this down.
Well, I just have to bring exposure to the fact that the Chicago police at that time were just using some of the worst tactics you possibly could to get confessions from people. And these confessions ultimately led to these men doing, decades behind bars in prison. So I just want to shed light on that and just give it some exposure.
Talk to me about the title. How does that reflect your personal experiences, the experiences of the other men that were there?
Well, American Nightmare is just to be taken away from prison, from society at 17 years old.
Yeah.
And having to spend the best years of your life behind bars is definitely traumatic. It has an enormous effect on the psyche. Mm-hmm. So it's like a never-ending nightmare. So I think that the title for this book was appropriate.
Something positive or inspiring that you mentioned are your grandparents.
Yes.
Were a big part of being diligent, being determined, powering through. Talk to me a little about your relationship with them and the impact they had on you during this.
Well, my grandfather died when I was about 3 years old. He left my grandma behind. And she was just very stern, a disciplinarian. She made sure I did my homework, made sure I did my chores.
You laugh now because she was probably right.
Yes, she was. She definitely was. Made sure I did my chores, my homework, made sure that I had respect, for my elders. So she was very, instrumental in my upbringing.
Yeah. And so with that upbringing, you mentioned you were 17
Yes.
when this happened.
Yes.
Talk to me about, you mentioned that there's a lack of knowledge in just the legal rights, just the legal system at 17. Talk to me a little about how you highlight that in the book.
Yeah, so it's like when you're picked up by the police, you don't understand, at that age what you can, what you can't do, what you are. You just basically don't know your rights. So they're able to manipulate you and just do as they wish with you. So it's definitely one of those situations where I wish I would have been more informed, but given the age that I was at, I just didn't know certain things, So it was definitely an experience that was life-changing, but at the same time, I just had to, learn basically from that situation that, your rights are very important. And I didn't learn that till after the fact.
Yeah.
So,
what information came out all those years later that allowed you guys to be exonerated, for you to have this opportunity to share your story?
Fingerprint evidence. It was evidence that wasn't available at the time of the crime. So, had these fingerprints been unearthed at that time, back in the mid '90s, we never would have went to prison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you hope young people learn from this if they read your book? Is it, was it a matter of wrong place, wrong time? Was it a matter of who you were with? What kind of things do you hope that young people learn from this experience if they read your book?
Well, I will say this. I don't think it was a matter of being at the wrong place at the wrong time. You just got to remember at that time, the crime rate was very high, and there was a lot of pressure on the Chicago police to solve these crimes. So at that time, they just pulled in anybody they could to try to secure, an arrest and a conviction, just to show Chicago that, they had someone for the crime. It just makes, a better news story to just show that, you have somebody that is responsible for whatever's been committed.
So what do you hope, even though things are different now?
Yeah.
Everything changes. Every decade, things are different, obviously. What do you hope that people take from your book, besides just like hearing your story and like it's such a great ending, obviously? What do you hope people take from it?
I just want to just showcase my own personal resilience, And I wanted to just show people that even after going through something traumatic as I've went through, you can still, you know, have a bright future. So I just want to give hope.
Yeah. You talk about how it was traumatic, obviously. You described it as an out-of-body experience.
Yes.
Talk to me a little bit about that, how, you know, it affected your mental health and how this has forced you to kind of really focus in on the mental health aspect of all this.
Well, the mental health aspect of it, something that I'm still dealing with today, is like you become so desensitized to pain. And it's like you can just go through so many horrible things and it doesn't even really affect you. So it's like I'm in a process now trying to just normalize and stabilize my feelings, because, I mean, it was a period of time when I was in there where I was getting obituaries like every 2 to 3 months, and I was just unaffected by it.
Wow.
So you just become desensitized to death and trauma. It definitely has a brutal effect on your psyche.
Yeah. Talk to me about starting over. So you had to start over. You're a whole new world once you ended up coming out.
Yeah, so when I got out at almost 39 years old, and just being, you know, just trying to adjust to the technology first and foremost, and then just getting my life back on track, because I'm doing things at almost 40 years old that I should have did like in my early to mid 20s. So to do all of this stuff just at an advanced age is just, it's an obstacle.
Yeah. Well, you are doing the thing because you have things going on.
Yes.
You have food drive. You have an event going on today. Talk to me about that event that's happening today and then the food drive coming up.
Yes, so we have Terry Hunter, prolific house DJ from Chicago, coming to my Harold's restaurant in River Oaks Mall. It'll be from 2:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. You know, come out, win raffle tickets. So it'll be a nice event.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then the food drive. A lot of people are talking about food drives this time of year.
Yeah, the food drive is it's at River Oaks Mall, 12 Mile Harold's restaurant, and it'll be I think between 4 to 6 p.m.
Okay.
Yeah, so people can come out, you know what I mean, and pick up, you know, a few things that they need to help them, you know, during the holidays.
Awesome. And we'll have the information on our website too as well. Awesome. Yep, the Colette McCoy Foundation's Thanksgiving food drive, accepting donations at the Harold's Chicken inside the River Oaks Mall, as you just said, in the food court in Calumet City, through November 16th. And if you're in need, the food giveaway will be November 20th. You can visit Colette McCoy Foundation on Instagram to sign up and for details. Thanks so much for joining us. Thank you.